The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
What's happening, everybody? How you guys doing tonight, or today, or this afternoon, or wherever, whatever time it is, wherever you are? Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Tom says, I saw your face on a show about Sturgis. Really? God, was I doing anything stupid? Was I drunk and drooling on myself or anything like that? Let's hope not. Tom says yes. Phil says it's 87 where he's at today. Yeah, that's great. I hope there's proof of me doing something stupid at Sturgis. That would be just fantastic. That would be just fantastic. That would be typical. That would be my luck, to be honest with you. That's how that would go. All right, we're going to tear into this thing. What I want to do tonight, guys, is kind of give you some broad brush strokes of what we're talking about here. And then on Thursday's call, on the Thursday Think Tank call, I'm going to ask for some feedback. We'll have a little bit of time for Q&A towards the end of this call, but I want you to think about this. I want you to put your thinking caps on and think about this, all right? So I've got here on the screen ready to be part of something bigger than the next big thing, and we mean that. We mean that with all our heart. So what are we talking about? Oh, my mouse died, damn it. Look at the fancy slide transition. Here's what we're talking about, guys. And I'm going to build up to what makes this such a big deal. We're talking about tablet-based in-store loyalty, okay? You guys all know store loyalty is smoking hot right now. It's coming faster and faster and faster. Those of you up here in the Midwest can look at how successful Super America's SA Rewards Points campaign has been. Holiday has partnered up with Cub Foods, right? It's just super hot. But in our opinion, there's a couple of fatal flaws with all of the current loyalty programs going, okay? We wanted to put something together that support multiple business models, and I've got a pile of business models that this will work for that we're going to talk about as we get into this, and we wanted to put something together that still gives you guys complete control over your clients, right? Now, we've been talking about bringing us all together as a group, and you're going to see what we're doing here in just a minute, okay? So I want to talk about, first of all, the fatal flaw with current loyalty systems, okay? Let's talk about the Super America model. I know some of you don't have Super Americas there. Super America is a huge convenience store chain in the Midwest here. They're owned by Ashland Oil, same company that owns Valvoline, and they're just absolutely a monster. They're the dominant player in the convenience store market, right? Well, they require you to either carry a card or put a little key fob on your keychain with a UPC symbol, and then when you check out, you can earn these Super America rewards points. And the same goes with Holiday gas stations and Cub Foods. You have to have a card that gets swiped. So now, in order to check out, you don't just swipe your check card. You got to swipe your loyalty card and then your check card. Okay? Yeah, Walgreens does it. CVS does it. Loyalty, we know loyalty's hot, right? What's the problem with it? It puts the POS integration, the point-of-sale integration, puts completely out of the reach for most small merchants. And it requires too many extra steps in the call to action, in my opinion, right? Number two, because there's no point-of-sale display, just a card scanner, they're not capable of displaying any ad space, right? Now, we know digital advertising is becoming huge. It's hard to walk into a convenience store without seeing a digital, rotating banner somewhere on a monitor behind the counter where they're advertising the in-store specials, okay? Well, the highest value space in any store is right next to the cash register. How many of you guys are familiar with Menards? Menards is they sell, home improvement, building supplies. They're like a Home Depot or a Lowe's. Okay? The number one sold SKU or part number at Menards, what do you think it is at the lumberyard? What do you think the number one, the hottest selling item at Menards is? Yeah, you guys are close. A lot of gums in here. It's salted nut rolls. It's salted nut rolls. Okay? That's the hottest selling item at Menards. It's not lumber. It's not screws. It's not nails. It's not gloves. It's candy. It's salted nut rolls. They sell more salted nut rolls than they do of any other SKU number. Okay? Another fatal flaw, no social integration. In my opinion, social integration is absolutely critical in today's market. Okay? And I think overall, although they are the most successful campaigns on the planet, the current loyalty programs that you're seeing in the big box stores are very short-sighted in general. There's a lot more they could be doing with them, and they're not doing it correctly. Okay? Here's what we want to do. We want to provide you a solution that lets you operate your own business, exactly what you've been doing. But we want you to be able to benefit from the power of the group. We want to leverage the combined power of the group to increase sales and lower barriers, because it'll be a lot easier for you to sell if we're all selling something common that they've heard of, right? We want to add a corporate-like structure to this that will allow us to help you, and there's very good reasons for that. Robert says like a franchise. Not quite. Not quite. Because if it was a franchise, we'd have some very strict regulations on what you can and can't do. We would force you to do things our way. We're not going to do any of that. We don't want to do that. All we want to do is emphasize the brand recognition, okay, and the group buying power. Thank you, Doug, for pointing that out. And we believe that with this new system, we will absolutely be able to dominate the offline space as a cohesive unit while still operating our own individual companies, okay? So here's what we're talking about, and this is very, very basic. We're talking about completely customizable loyalty program, okay, with a user-defined header image, background image, canvas size, colors, landscape or portrait mode, works with tablets. We're also going to have it be able to work with micro PCs and touch screens with a viewer app installed. So if you have the room and you want to run a 22-inch touchscreen monitor, you'll be able to do that. You won't be limited to just tablets. On the right-hand side in this particular demo, you can see we are going to have a keypad for a check-in with a mobile number. That's going to be the only input on the device because we want to be able to keep the line moving, okay? We want to be able to keep the line moving. We don't want people to, I think it's just you, Manjeet. I think the slides are working fine. We don't want to have people standing and holding up the line. Because ultimately, what's that going to lead to? It's going to lead to people not participating in the loyalty program because they're going to go around you after they check out. Okay? Bob says, what about NFC? Bob, it's part of the plan, but it's not widespread enough to rely on it. So it'll be coming down the road as it gets more and more embedded in the phones. The left column or top column, whatever, depending on your layout, is going to have your front end offer, which is going to prompt them to join your loyalty club. On the submit, you're going to swap out the front end for the back end to show the offer. Okay, we'll be able to put the points display in there, so you'll be able to say how many points you won. You'll be able to use scratch-offs in that left column and unlock a scratch-off with a loyalty check-in. We're going to be able to schedule all of the different things that show here by date, time, etc. It's going to be able to take a video, and you're going to be in complete control. Some other things that we're looking at are potentially being able to display available appointments, potentially be able to display upsells, potentially be able to put a sales system right into the loyalty program, because there's going to be certain models where it's going to be used away from the cash register. And maybe you'll want to be able to collect a payment there. Okay? Let's talk about mechanics for a second. Like I said, we want a single input at the point of check-in. You're going to check in with your mobile phone number. Everything else is going to be collected via text message and landing page. People will be able to text in offers to see the available offers at the store. They'll be able to text in balance to see what their loyalty balance is. They'll be able to text in redeem, where we'll text them back a link, which will take them to a mobile optimized page that can show all of the offers, have all of the redemption buttons on it, and then we'll be able to direct them to a page where they can redeem the offer. Okay? It's going to be shortcode compatible. You won't have to use a smartphone. Although I think that's a pretty silly thing to put in a slide nowadays. You'll be able to set the reward levels in the admin. You'll be able to set the redemption levels in the admin. Okay? You're going to build an SMS list. You're going to build an email list. And then in future versions, and we're going to talk about phase 1, 2, 3, and 4 here in just a minute. And when we get into that, you'll see why this becomes so powerful. We're also going to be able, so when they check in with their phone number, they're at the convenience store, I'm at Bob's Market, boom, 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 I check in with my phone number to earn my daily points. Exactly. Exactly. We think that's huge too, and nobody's ever done that before. We'll have viral sharing built in. We'll have contests built in. On phase 2, we're going to have a rotating ad space. Okay? Rotating ad space. Now, what am I talking about there? If I go back a slide, real quick here, if you take a look at this, right? Imagine this. Imagine an ad slider that's constantly rotating. That's constantly rotating. And then every 5th slide or every 30 seconds, it comes back to this home screen. While the ads are sliding, there will be a banner across the top that says, click here to check in. They'll tap that. It'll take them back to this screen. But ad space, that's constantly rotating. And that supports crazy amounts of business models, and I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. We're also going to have remote signups with tracking built in. And what do I mean by remote signups? Well, cross-marketing is huge, right? So if we've got a loyalty program at Bob's Market, but we want to pay the guy down the street at the oil change shop to do some advertising for us, we're going to have the ability to sign them up to Bob's loyalty program from off-site. Now, you'll be able to do this by text, possibly QR code. We're still looking at a couple of different ways, all right? But that's what we're talking about, the single input at checkout and delivering everything else and capturing everything else via text message and mobile website, okay? Here's where the good stuff comes in. I've talked about this already a little bit. You're going to be able to provide extremely valuable services and charge for it, right? You're going to be able to go down to Bob and say, Bob, Super America's got customer loyalty. We know you want customer loyalty too. It's never been affordable, but here it is, all right? With the rotating ad space, You're also going to be able to go to Bob's and say, hey, Bob, how would you like a complete turnkey point-of-sale customer service, customer loyalty program? It's not going to cost you a damn thing. Because what you can do is you can go sell neighboring businesses ad space on Bob's display. So let's say Bob's got a convenience store, right? We'll be able to actually put in ads for the oil change shop and the lumber yard, maybe the Subway restaurant, that display at Bob's convenience store, so you can afford to give this to Bob because you're charging the neighboring businesses for ad space on Bob's display. Okay? Now here's where it gets even more powerful. Why can we afford to give this to you guys? Because what our plan is to distribute the software to you guys to allow you to go out and run these loyalty programs for your customers. You'll be able to check a checkbox, maybe a couple checkboxes. You'll be able to check a checkbox within your admin that will allow you to hook your devices, to hook your campaigns we're going to use a pay-per-click model. So if you're in control of Bob's loyalty program and somebody clicks on that Subway restaurant ad and gets that offer for Subway sent right to their phone, you get paid. You get paid. Does everybody understand that? Couple of questions about UK. This is going to be US, UK, and Canada for now. We will expand very rapidly outside of those. We're going to integrate with Twilio and Tropo. So we'll be able to take it global very, very quickly, you guys. This is our model. We want you guys to be able to run your own individual campaigns and companies. But we want it will be very, very, very easy for us to go get those big box stores, for us to go get that Subway restaurant. Okay? And every time somebody clicks one of those ads inside of one of your campaigns, you're going to get paid. This is what we're building. It supports your daily deal offers, right? Because maybe you don't want to sell this thing to anybody. Maybe you want to put up a display in 10 or 20 different high traffic locations all over town and just build your daily deals list. It supports your Magic Deals training that you're going through with Ken right now. As a matter of fact, it supports it pretty well. It'll support charitable fundraising by being able to offer loyalty check-ins that earn for charities. We'll get more into that. I've got that rattling around in my head, and we'll talk about that some other time. But the bottom line is that there is tons and tons of business models supported here. Okay? Jim's got a great question. Will the ads be location-based? Bob's in Minnesota won't be a good market in New Hampshire. Absolutely. Absolutely, Jim. You'll be able to say, don't show other convenience store offers if your campaign's running in a convenience store. If your campaign's running in a restaurant, you'll be able to say, don't run other restaurant offers. If your campaign's running in an oil change shop, you'll be able to say, don't run other automotive repair offers, right? That's what we're talking about here. We're going to roll this out in 4 stages to you guys. Thomas wants to know who owns the SMS list. We'll talk about that on some future webinars. This is going to occupy quite a few calls over the next couple months, guys. So We'll cover all of that, I promise. We'll cover all of that, I promise. Phase 1 is going to be the complete in-store loyalty with the SMS offer deliverability, the email capture, editable everything, admin-defined rewards, admin-defined redemptions, and the viewer app for use with large touchscreens and micro PCs. That's phase 1. Okay? We're targeting 4 to 5 weeks for a phase 1 rollout here. That could change. We'll keep you up to date as we get into it. Okay? Paul says, can anybody buy into the program? Yes and no, Paul. The way we're going to do this is we're going to be charging by campaign. Okay? Those of you that are Wrecking Ball customers, Thursday Think Tank members, we're going to set you up with a predefined number of campaigns. And you'll get plenty, don't worry. People that want in past that, if you're marketing consultants, will be charging per month per campaign. Okay? Lori wants to know who provides the equipment. We've got an outlet for that too. We're going to talk about that as we get a little deeper into this thing too. Phase 2 is going to be the advanced campaign functionality that we talked about, as well as the ad space server. Okay? Now this is still local. This is still local to your campaign. This will give you the ability down at Bob's to put in the 2-for-1 milk specials, the ads for neighboring businesses, all of those kinds of things. We're not talking about the network here on phase 2 yet. And we're going to be laying the groundwork for a national launch cycle, and we'll be sourcing bulk hardware. Think Tank member Stacy Ruth has actually got a pretty good source on hardware that can be leased, and we're going to talk about that a little later in the week as well. Okay. Jay wants to know, will it work for languages other than English? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Phase 3, this is where we get into the good stuff.